I'm Lane Fay, and I'm going to be the host today as I talk about social media for business. In today's workshop, I'm going to be covering using your Facebook for business, how to create paid advertisements that actually do work, what content to post, and learning how to use other social media platforms, including my personal favourite, TikTok. So a little bit about me to begin with. I'm a digital solutions advisor for the Australian Small Business Advisory Service. I'm also the owner of Lad Social, the shirt I'm wearing today. It's one of the larger digital marketing companies based in central Queensland and Rockhampton, which is where I'm from. I have been creating content for social media going on nearly 15 years now. And my team produce content for businesses all across the country, all across the state, and all across the city. I have a trade behind me. I'm a refrigeration mechanic by trade, and I have multiple different businesses across multiple different industries. And I don't think there's a single type of business that I haven't consulted with at this point in time. So that is a little bit about me. If you have a question at any point in time during this webinar today, just raise your hand or use the question and answer chat functions in your Zoom controls at the bottom. For those of you that are watching this online later, feel free to get in touch with me. My details are on the Business Station Digital Solutions program. If you see me move my hair around a little bit, that is because I'm using multiple screens today. This workshop that I do is entirely live, so the content that you see is completely unfiltered, and I don't know what's going to appear on the screen when I scroll down. So let's get started with probably what is the more popular social media platform for businesses, which is definitely Facebook. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, they all work the same way, in that they want to show the most important content to its audience. Because the more time the audience spends on social media, the more ads they see. So if you're looking at one of the two sort of strategies for social media, one being you're running paid advertising to get in front of people, or you're using organic marketing where you're relying on the content to be good quality to get in front of your customers, either way, the social media platform wants to show what's the most important content it thinks to its audience. So I'm going to go to my screen and we're going to go have a look at my personal Facebook page. And as I go through this page, there's various different posts that Facebook's decided to show me from different businesses and people, including links to Reels, classifieds, and it's also, it can show me sponsored ads. And I know they're sponsored ads because it says here that it's sponsored. And as I continue to scroll through here, I'm going to see more and more content from different things. And again, another sponsored ad. Keep scrolling down. Another sponsored ad. Now, the content that tends to attract a lot of attention is the content that has people in it. When you think social media, the first thing you should be thinking is people. So ideally, every single type of post that you put up should have some sort of people in it. These posts always perform better organically. If you start putting paid advertising behind it, they also tend to perform better than posts without people in them. Now, when I start to think about marketing and how I do it, I look at a few different steps. The first step is always branding. You want to make sure when you do branding, you're showing who you are. You want to be connecting with your audience. You want to be showing them the content that shows who you are, what your brand represents, the values you bring, and the logo. The next step after branding has to be capability. With capability, you want to show your customers what you're capable of doing. Now, capability often gets confused with sales. You don't want to be trying to sell your product or your service. You purely just want to be informing your customer about what you can do for them. So the next step after that is action. This is where you ask your customers to do something. So this is where the sale starts to come. This is where you try and get those dollars into the till. The final step, the very last part, is social testimony. This is where you try and get those reviews, try and get the pictures of the customers using your product or utilising your service, so that you can prove that you're actually doing work and that your product is validated. So when we look at marketing from top down, it's branding, capability, action, social testimony. So starting off with branding, let's look at the very top. The easiest way to do a branding post is to introduce yourself. And when I do an introduction post, I'll take a photograph of the owner, the manager, the employees, whatever it is, and I'll do a little bit of a line about, okay, why did they start the business, what their experience is, what their expertise is, what they're interested in. Then I like to finish with a line that's personal. I found if you do this post correctly and make it look organic, in that it doesn't have pretty graphics on it or anything like that, it's just purely a picture of a person in front of the business, then that sort of content will go viral. Customers will connect to it and relate to it. When the customers start to connect to and relate to your product and your brand, then what's happening there is that they're starting to form an opinion about it. If we look at two of the biggest brands in the world, Samsung and Apple, I'm a Samsung user every day of the week because I've never seen an Apple iPhone that's more than a year old that doesn't have a cracked screen. As a business owner, my phone is my connection to the world. I need to have my screen working. So regardless of how clumsy I am, and I probably drop this phone every day, the screen still works. It still functions perfectly fine. I've had that with every single Samsung I've ever owned. iPhones, iPads, everything like that, it just tends to break for me. They don't last, they cannot handle my destructibility. So that's how I feel about the brand. And even subconsciously, everyone starts to form opinions about every brand that they work with. So, branding posts, you can showcase things like your location, who you are, why you start the business, you can showcase your team. You can show what values are important for your business. The next step, capability. So if you're a product-based business, this is purely just showing the product. Now, there was a butcher I worked with a couple of years ago, and I doubled their business the first year working with them, and I tripled it in the second year working with them. Just by taking their standard product shot, a picture of the steaks or the pork chops or whatever they're trying to sell, and getting the butcher to hold it. As soon as we took it from this is the pork chop we're trying to sell to the butcher, pick of the week is this pork chop, then sales increased because it was focused around people. Social media has to be people. But with that, we never said come in and buy it. We never said this is how much is the price. We're just purely letting them know that this is the products that we have in. Let our customers create their own call to actions from it. If you're a service-based business, then you want to have shots that say, let's say you're a plumber, did you know that we can fix your broken pipes? We can clear out your lines. We can install your toilets. Get shots that show action with what you actually do in your business. Next step, action, this is where you ask. So with these sort of posts, what I like to do is, we have a sale on this weekend, we're open additional hours, we've got more stock in, we have availability this weekend to do jobs, whatever it is, just give them something a little bit different that they can take action from. Now, the last step, social testimony. It's hard to get customers on camera or get photos of them with your product or service. But you always get customers that rave and go on about your brand and your product. So when you get those ones, be like, hey, one moment, can I get a picture of you with this product to use on your social media? I'd love to use it as a testimony. Very rarely do you get customers say no. I have a team of content creators that work for me that go around, take photographs and video for various different businesses. We tend to find it very easy to get our customers involved with that, especially if they've seen content in the past on social media with customers and so forth in it. Mechanics are a particularly good one in this industry because a lot of people have a pride and joy car and they want to show it off. So make it about your customer and you'll get a good response from it. So that covers sort of the different types of organic posts that I like to do. You can do them as a photograph or a video. Now, social media these days is very video orientated. But if you can't create good video, and there's a few different steps to creating good video, then a photo is always a good option. With a photo, you can sell your message immediately because the picture's there and you have your feel for your caption. With a video, you have to allow your customer the time to actually watch through it. So I like to make my videos very short, and I want to sell the key message in the first few seconds. If I can get the first few seconds off if the customer's watching it, then you should have got your message sold. When we start looking at video, and everyone should be doing video now for social media, at least for stories, then with video, the most important thing is the story. If you got the right message, then nothing else matters. After that, it's the audio quality. You want to make sure that you have good quality audio and you can be easily heard. I imagine the audio today isn't that great on this video because my my microphone is broken. So I'm relying on the inbuilt microphone on the webcam. The next step is composition and movement. It's basically how you set up the shot. If you're to one side of the screen or the other side of the screen, the shot's going to look weird. And finally, it's the video quality. If you're shooting on your mobile phone, which I know a lot of people are these days, any smartphone that's been made in the last decade has good enough quality for social media in terms of video. That's painful to say for someone who owns a company that produces video, but you can do it with your mobile phone. It is very, very possible to create good quality video with your mobile phone. Okay, so you're creating good quality content on your social media. The next step is really to reach more people with it. And two strategies I mentioned before, the organic and the paid strategy. With the organic strategy, you're posting content out there and you're asking for your customer to engage with it. So we're going to go back to my screen for this one. And I can see that Chris is saying that, yes, it is a bit muffled, and I do apologise for that. The microphone suddenly stopped working today. Okay, so onto my social media. At the moment, I have a video out recruiting for more staff for next year, for trainees. And I've got people that have responded to it, and decent response. We've got a lot of shares and a few comments. When we get people respond to it, and I'll have to make sure I actually do switch into my profile. One moment. Right, from my personal profile, I'm going to go to my business profile. Okay, business profile. When we get people that respond to our posts, we want to click on the reactions. You're going to get the ability to invite people to like your page. This is a great way to build up your audience. So click on the reactions and go through and look for people who currently don't like your page. You can just click on the invite and they'll get a notification to like your page. So I recommend you do that. The next thing is, if you want to reach more people, Facebook has some really, really great options for advertising. Now, there's three ways to do it. You can boost your posts, you can use Ad Center, or you can use Ad Manager. I like to describe boosting your posts as a Camry. It's not a very exciting car, but it will get you there. You move up into Ad Center and Ads Manager, especially Ads Manager, it's more like a Ferrari. You need to have a little bit of skill, and you need to know how to drive it first before you can really have any fun. So for this example, I'm just going to use the boosting post function. So we find a post that we want to reach more customers with. We click on the boost post function, and we come down here. We've got some goals and options first, and where it's going to be, like on the Messenger and Instagram. And then we have these options down here. So we can choose people through targeting. We can reach people who currently like our page. Now, this one's great if you're just trying to retarget your existing audience. And you might have a few thousand people that currently like your Facebook page that haven't seen any content from you for a while. This is a good way to get those customers, reconnect with them, and engage with them. You can also target people who like your page and people similar to them. This is essentially building on lookalike audiences, because if friends like it, their friends are probably going to like it as well. And one of my favorites, people in your local area. This is just really good for targeting people in your immediate vicinity. For this example, I'm going to use people you choose through targeting. I'm going to click this little edit button here, and I'm going to start picking out my audience. So I've got an option of male and female and age range. And then I've got an option for location. Now it's in the radius here is miles because it's an American platform, and they haven't learned how to count in lots of 100. But we can put in any location we want. So I'm going to put in, let's go Gladstone. Town to the south of me. I'm going to put in Mackay. And for this example, I'm going to put in Brisbane as well. So I picked out a few locations there. Now, each of these give me the option of a mile radius. And these are 10-mile radius around. But if we want to pick out an individual suburb, I'm going to go back to my hometown for this one, I can always take this pin here and drop the pin down. It will default to a large radius, but then I can drag it down to 1 mile, which I believe is around about 2.5k. So it allows me to sort of target a suburb and a little region. So that's a really great option if you want to like pinpoint down your marketing, or if you're a small business like a cafe. When we come down here though, we have detailed targeting. This is where we can really start to fine tune and pick out who we want. When we do ads, there's sort of 2 strategies to it. You go very broad, brand awareness, you want to reach a lot of people, or you go very narrow. You really target the customer you want to target with the product that you're trying to sell. When we look at the options for detailed targeting, they're made up of demographics, interests, and behaviours. So in demographics, we have things like education level. Financial doesn't work in Australia. We have things like life events, anniversaries, new job, newly engaged, newly wed, parents, whether newborn, how old the kids are, those sort of things. Relationship status. I've had a lot of success for a florist using the complicated one. Relationship status complicated, because you know he's in trouble. Work, you can pick out people based on different industries. So there's a lot of different options there you can target. We go into interests and you can pick out people based on what they like. So fitness, bodybuilding, shopping, fashion, toys, recreation, outdoor, boating, sports. Essentially, if you can think of something, you can target people through Facebook advertising. In the behavior section here, we've got things like small business owners, new active business, the type of mobile phone they're on. So let's use that one. Let's go mobile phone, and we're going to go with Apple. I have no idea what the latest iPhone is, but let's just say it's the iPhone X. Let's say I have a product to sell iPhone X's. This is roughly how many people in those locations that have that type of phone. So I can target them out, I can pick them out. And then the last step here with targeting our advertising is our budget. So if we put a budget on for 1 day, I believe the minimum ad spend is $1.61, $1.62. So put a budget on for $1.61 for 1 day. Based on the audience that we've created here, we're going to reach between 43 and 123 people per day with that targeting. So if we increase the number of days, let's just say 10 days here, our budget's got to be $16.10. That's our total budget over the time span of 10 days. And every day we're going to reach 43 to 123 people. So if we can reach the right people with our targeted advertising, then we can have a very low customer acquisition cost. Customer acquisition cost is how much you're prepared to spend to acquire each customer. It's very important that you monitor the metrics. So if you get 1 customer and you spend $1.61, unless you're selling coffees, that's a very, very good industry. That's a really good return on investment. So once you're happy with your targeting and your audience that you've selected out, the last step is to boost your posts. Facebook's then going to check through that content and make a decision on whether it's going to be suitable and publish it. If it rejects your ad, it's going to give you some very vague reasons why. And I've seen Facebook ads get rejected for everything from using lowercase f in the word Facebook to them thinking the product's inappropriate. So lots of different options there for targeting, but generally it will go through, and if it's your first time advertising, you got to make sure that you put your payment details in the bottom. Next thing I want to cover, getting back into the organic marketing, is just when to be posting. So straight from our main feed here, we can click on what's on your mind, we can type in our words, we can add our pictures and so forth. But ideally here, we want to schedule our posts and have a look at an appropriate time to be posted. So I'm going to go to Meta Business Suite. And from your main feed here, to get into Meta, you click on your menu, scroll down to, I moved it recently on me, Meta Business Suite. That's how you get in. That's how you get to Ad Manager if you want to do some more advanced advertising. So I'm inside Meta and I can see my inbox, notifications. What I want is my posts and stories. When I come in here, it's going to give me the option to be able to create my posts and to schedule them. Give this a moment to load. Here we go. So I can create my stories, I can create my posts, I can see what's scheduled, I can see what's draft. I'm going to click on Create Post. Inside my Create Posts here, I've got Facebook and Instagram, so I can send a post out to each, and I can customize it for both Facebook and Instagram. This is great because you're better off using just hashtags on Instagram and not using hashtags on Facebook. There was a study done a couple of years ago that showed when you use hashtags on Facebook, you get lower engagement. So we put in our text, we add our picture or our video, and rather than going publish now, I'll just turn off Instagram, because with Instagram you do have to have a picture, you can't just have text. Rather than just going publish now, I'm going to use the schedule button. When I click that schedule button, I'm going to have this option down here for active times. If I click on that, it's going to tell me when my audience is online. So the people that engage with me, what time of day they're online. So pick out one that's the most suitable for what you're trying to market. Now, you might look at this as well and go, okay, 6 p.m. My business shuts at 5. Why would I want to put a post up at 6 p.m.? That's when your audience is online. Generally, it takes a day or two for a customer to go, oh, I'm going to make a decision and actually come into a business. You know, they're going to enter your business or contact you in your own time, and they can always leave you a message and you can follow up when you get into work. So don't feel afraid to post at 6 p.m. And when I look at these as well, me personally, I don't like to post exactly on 6 p.m. because that's what everyone else does. I'll post at something like 6:15 or 6:12, something just a little bit more random. Now, the next thing that I want to show you in here is your insights. Insights is fantastic, just for getting an understanding of where your business is at. So we can see how many people have been reached through paid advertising, standard reach, and on Instagram. If we go into our results report, we can see how many page visits on both our Facebook and our Instagram. If you can't see the Instagram one, you've just got to connect it through to your Meta. When you go up here, it'll give you the option and you can see how to do that. And you can also see how many new likes and followers you've got on Facebook and Instagram, and your paid ads, which I'm running at the moment. The next option down here is your audience. This is going to tell you who your customers are, who's following you. So we can see on Facebook, we've got nearly 6,000 page followers. Most of them are female in that 25 range. 25 to 34. Most of our customers are from Rockhampton. That makes sense because we're based in Rockhampton. We can see our top cities, unusual. And we can also see our top countries. It's pretty usual for most of your followers to be from Australia. So have a look, it'll just give you an idea for your audience, as your potential audience. One other thing that's always important, I do like to point this out, is just making sure your Facebook page is secure. If we go to our page settings, I did that by clicking the 3 lines here and going up to page settings. And we want to go to page access and new pages experience. This is who has access to my page. When you add people to your page, there's 2 things you should do. Give them the right level of access, which you can change the level of access by clicking the dots, change the access level. And you want to make sure that whoever you add onto your page has 2-factor authentication installed on their personal page. That just prevents a lot of problems with hackers. And you've probably all heard stories about hackers getting access to pages. So to do that, we're just going to go back to our personal profile. We're going to click on our profile on the right-hand side. We're going to go to settings and privacy. We're going to go to settings. And we're going to go to security and login. Inside here, you're going to scroll down until you find 2-factor authentication. Then you're going to turn it on and you're going to follow the steps. Okay, so that covers the first bit I want to cover around social media, what to do there, what to post, when to post, how to schedule, and how to do paid ads. The next bit that I want to cover is around the other social media platforms. Now, I mentioned to you that TikTok is my favorite platform at the moment. And the reason why it's my favorite platform is because you have huge potential there to go viral. When you post on Facebook, just purely talking organically here, the audience that engages with your Facebook is the ones that like, tag, share, comment, and click on your current content. If your audience isn't liking, tagging, sharing, commenting, or clicking on it, then they're not going to be seeing any content that you're posting. With Instagram, it's based on engagement on the hashtags that you're using. But with TikTok, what happens is it sends your post, your video, out to a small audience. If that small audience engages with it, then it'll send it out to a slightly bigger one, slightly bigger. So it's entirely possible that you can put up a post today on TikTok and have over 1 million views on it by the end of the week. And the more that you show that you're creating good quality content, the more people are going to see your TikTok. Now, that's why I like TikTok. Recently, I had a bit of a joke with a mate, and they said that it's very hard to go viral on TikTok. I said, watch me, I'll have 250,000 views on my TikTok by the end of the week. So I created a video, very, very simple one, and got that 250,000 views within a couple of days, and then I repeated it in a very similar fashion, got another 200,000 views, and he said it was purely subject matter and how I did it. The thing is that what I did worked because I allowed the option for controversy. So I'll actually show you the post that I'm talking about. So deep dive into my own personal TikTok here. Just get it up here. I want to share setting and optimize. Okay, so this is my TikTok page, and this is the one that got that 250,000 views on. This is the view counter down here. And I'll let the video play out.
Between regular and large fries. What is the weight difference between regular and large fries? 117 grams for regular.
It's like 20 more grams.
130 grams for large. What the 15 grams difference looks like in said looking fries.
So it was a very simple approach that I did, and it got a huge amount of comments and controversy and questions and people saying it's different here, percentages, a whole heap of different responses to it. But when I repeated this video and actually showed everything, like, there was a lot of controversy where people were like, you took fries there, you did this, you did that, and it encouraged that communication. When you get a few trolls on picking on you, then it actually pushes your video out more. So when I repeated it,
what is the weight?
I showed everything in detail and showed every step. No one cared. There was nothing there that they could drag onto. There's nothing there that they could really engage with. So there's entirely an approach to what content you're posting and how you post it. I've had other videos sort of do well here and there, different types of videos. But as soon as you throw something up there that you can have a little bit of controversy, your customer will connect with it. In terms of production quality and what you're doing, it doesn't need to be over the top with TikTok. What works best is when it's real. The best example of this is Cheese Boss. He's an American fella, Jim. He set out to create a fast food chain focused around cheesy bread toasties. And this is his first video with 1.6 million views on it. And the sort of video that he's done here and his approach to it is what we call the dreamer market. And everyone sort of has that dream, oh, I can quit my job and do this. That's how he's connecting with his audience here. So I'll play the video.
So 1 year ago, I left everything behind to start the next big restaurant brand. We started off small with this plot of land and built everything we could by ourselves. We got this trailer to start and get proof of concept out to the people as fast as we could. We built everything and made it look really awesome and nice. But then we had to close. Shortly after, we managed to release out this restaurant space and we built it up by hand ourselves. Piece by piece, wall by wall, hour by hour, day by day, we built it up and we finally got open. And this is where our story begins. This is us.
The cool thing about TikTok is the quality doesn't matter. It's all about the message. Closer to home, there's this business called Pokey's Mechanical, and he gets a lot of different views on his content. And I'm just going to pick one of his videos at random. A lot of them are just like face the camera type stuff.
Hey, you want to go for a ride?
Nah, no thanks. Mine's faster. And it's not fucking automatic either.
So a lot of these are just very sort of simple.
Okay, this message is for Suzuki. Why? Why have you made an engine bay with so much room over this side, yet I need to do the fan belt down in there? Like, it's that tight between the belt.
So a lot of his videos are just simple face to cameras, and he's got 169.2 followers. And he has this great video that, because I've had to reinstall my OS, I don't have my bookmarks. But he had this great video where he talks about his marketing on TikTok. And he says that if, only 1% of those 100,000 people that follow me, or even 0.10% of them are in my region, that's more work than he can handle. So he doesn't need every single customer to be like follower to actually connect and buy and purchase his product and use his service. He just needs enough of them in his region to come to him and utilize his service. And he's got a very, very busy workshop. And because of his online presence, just doing simple videos of his day-to-day life as a mechanic, he gets customers come from all over Australia to get him to work on his car. So he's built a fantastic business out using that model just by telling the stories that go on with business. The biggest thing for business owners to realise, and this is probably the secret to it all if you're after that one secret, is that people outside your business don't know anything about your business. They don't see the behind the scenes, they don't understand your industry. So creating a few videos and taking customers behind the scenes is fantastically interesting if they have no idea what you do. So take your customers behind the scenes, show them what goes on in your business. 15 years in business, and I was talking to a lady the other day and she had heard of my business but had no idea the sort of scale of what I do. It's a clear indication that your customer's perception stops at the front counter. So take the camera behind the scenes and let people know what you're doing. When you're first starting out, filming and showing those behind the scenes, using stories on your Facebook and Instagram is a fantastic way to do it, just simply because those stories are only short-term content. They're only up there for 24 hours and they disappear. It's a really great way to be practicing your video and getting better with your skills. So, wrapping up this session today, there's a couple of key things that I want you to take away. The first is that regardless of what you're posting, message is the most important thing. If you tell a good story, your customers are going to engage with it. Don't make every post a sales post. Showcase who you are, showcase what you do, let your customers see other customers have utilized your service. You never know who they might know, and then they might ask that customer if they know them personally about your brand or your product. So feel free to do that. It's always a good idea. When you want to reach more customers, utilize the ad tools. Run a couple of paid advertising. I recommend making them very narrow. If you're trying to sell a particular product, target the people who have that product. Use the detailed targeting tools that are there on Facebook to reach them. If you haven't set up a TikTok account yet, I recommend that you do it. Do it today. TikTok is where Facebook was at in 2008. If you know everything that you know about Facebook and where it's at now, getting in on day one back in 2008 means that you could be a massive brand today. So that's where TikTok is. You still have the potential to go viral. So start creating videos. There was a business that we worked with, and when we first worked with them, they were closing down, and now they've just actually opened. They've gone from a 60 square metre store to a 630 square metre store. So they've got a retail element, an online element. With the online element, last year they had 140,000 people go through to their website. In the first month of this year, when we started doing TikTok for them, they had over 100,000 people go to their website in just 1 month, just from the content that was being posted on TikTok. With TikTok, try a whole heap of different styles, try different songs, try different approaches to filming. Eventually, you're going to find one that really works for you. Then just stick with it. Repeat the hell out of the format. As soon as it stops working, come up with a different one. With a lot of content creation, it's trial and error to see what your customers actually connect with. So I've got a question here from Chrisney. Paints pet portraits, selling pet products on my site might have increased my income. Cool, you paint pet portraits. I'd be filming like a time lapse of you painting the pet portrait of the pet and showing the reference material and the finished product of the portrait. That sort of thing on TikTok I've seen before, and it's definitely very interesting and can go viral. Especially if you can tell a little bit of the story where it's not just I'm painting a pet portrait for Liam's cat. No, tell a little bit of story. Liam wanted a portrait of his pet cat that recently passed away, etc., etc. I'm painting it for him. So tell a little bit of the story. That story is what your customers are going to connect with. I've seen pet portraits. That's been done decades and decades. People have been doing pet portraits. But if you can tell the story behind that pet portrait, that's when you get people interested. That's when they engage with you and start to go, hang on, this is interesting. I like this idea. I think I can do the same thing. So you definitely can do that on TikTok. If you're thinking about selling pet products as well, you're moving from art into retail. And if you're moving into retail, what's your experience with selling products? That's the question you ask yourself when you're just creating more work for yourself than you need to. I always caution people when they have a business with one skill set and go, hey, I can create something that's relatable. You start to very, very quickly find that you're splitting your mind between two different things. And take it from someone who's opened and closed multiple businesses and sold and brought businesses over the year, it's easier to stick with one, even if I don't. So at this point in time, is there any other questions from the audience? If you want to throw any examples of what your business is at me, feel free, or try and give some suggestions. If you're doing something like painting pet portraits, that's very personal to the customer. If they're going to commission a portrait of their pet, there's definitely a story behind it. Their love for that pet. So I assume that if you're doing that, you probably have pets yourself. So I'd be telling a little bit of a story about yourself and your pets. Making an assumption there, but I feel like I'm probably correct. That's something that your audience is going to relate to because they're pet people, your pet people. So very, very good. For anyone who's watching this later online, if you do have questions, just get in touch with me. My details are on the Business Station website. And speaking of that, if you are watching this and you're not in the Digital Solutions program, then I definitely recommend signing up for the Digital Solutions program. Digital Solutions program is a fantastic initiative from the Commonwealth Government of Australia. It costs us just $44 to access the program. Once you're in the program, you can get up to 3 hours of direct one-on-one time with myself and essentially any of the digital solutions advice that you choose from. We can help you with these topics, although not all these topics are within my area of expertise. And you also get access to a lot of e-learning material like these workshops and webinars. To access the program, fewer than 20 employees, have an ABN that's registered in WA, Queensland or NT, and be operating to make a profit. Come onto the Digital Solutions website. It'll lead you to Business Station 1, or just go straight to Business Station 1. Find the register button, fill in your details, and if you want to have a session with me, down the bottom, you can put in my name once you go through these steps. It only takes a few minutes to do so. So definitely recommend that. Okay, at this point in time, sorry, I'm just reading through the chat here. This session is being recorded, so you'll be able to find this recording on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't been to the Business Station YouTube channel, there's a huge amount of resources there. There's hundreds of videos on every single topic you can ever begin to imagine. Next week at 5:30, I'm doing my TikTok for Business. It's one of my favorite courses. It's the Don't Dance for Likes on TikTok. So if you want to learn more about TikTok, I'm going to dive deep into it then, and hopefully I will have a new microphone by then and my audio quality will be much better. But yes, this session is recorded and you will be sent a link once it has been processed. Okay, if there's no other questions from the audience, I'm going to finish off this webinar now. I've been William Fay from Business Station, part of the Digital Solutions program, and this has been my session on social media for business.